Hello, welcome back to this third section of today's class. This is actually going to be the last section of today's class, and I learned a lot. We'll be able to use AI to understand how AI can assist us building beautiful, lovely websites, and we'll be able to see how AI can be very, very useful to us creating assets for our pictures and videos. Maybe into Google Gemini, Gemini View, and Gemini View, and Gemini Google Google that we can use for our software, for our websites. So, a picture talks more than 1,000 words, then talk more. A video will do much more than a picture can ever try to do. So, we are going to be looking at the third part of today's class. And let's use how do we AI reading on our website beyond generating assets for our website, beyond generating videos. Can we get AI to actually be very functional on our website, e.g., reading chatbot website? Can we do that with AI? Answer yes. I remember your favorite instructor, Okolo Chukwudi, is the senior instructor. Don't want to miss this section. Really love enjoy. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at integrating AI features and capability into website. Now, the architecture of website AI integration. Integrating AI capabilities into web application typically follows one of three architectural patterns. Now, number one, what are the patterns that it follows? Now, integrating a website into AI into a website, it follows either of these three patterns. Number one, backend API proxy standard. Client send request to your server, Node.js, Express, Node.js/Express, PHP, Python. Your server securely authenticates with the LLM provider. That's a large language model provider. Maybe it may be OpenAI, maybe Anthropic, it may be Google Gemini, and streams the response back to the client. This is one of the ways that we do it, whereby you integrate the AI into the back end, and when your user is interacting, they send their request to the back end, and your back end sends the request to the large language learning, and the large language learning model sends the request back to the back end. The back end sends that. This is the standard way whereby AI is integrated into website. So this is the standard way, but there are still other ways it can be done. Client-side web AI, running lightweight modules directly inside the user's browser using web GPU, WebAssembly, and libraries like Transformer.js or TensorFlow.js, zero API calls, maximum privacy. So this one allows you client-side web AI. You can run the AI inside the user's browser, directly inside the person's. I'm hoping that one of our bonus tutorial will see how we can set up a large language, we can set up an AI inside our system that of course is used. It's very possible. Yeah, that part of the tutorials you'll be getting on this as time goes. How you can set up your own AI. So you don't have to go to internet every time you want to use AI to ask simple question. Even how to set up an AI system also be learned that these are all things that as time channel is not a channel you just watch this video and for are going to subscribe. But when you subscribe, you can be able to see our content and talk about. By each time we produce content, you face it. Every week we upload new content to our platform. That is what every single week is pushed to our platform. And you really don't subscribe to our notification button. And honestly, going to love it. Then the other part is third-party embedded with a load pre-configured AI chat script via hosted what CDNs. And this is another way. This is the simplest way to integrate AI in website, whereby you use an already existing provider. Just take the code. They have done the work for you. You just grab their code snippet and put it into wherever you want it to be. So below is a now this is an example here. We say below is a lightweight responsive chat interface with message state management, typing indicators, and clean UI. So let us see. This is just a user interface, not doing anything. But let us see how it looks. Let's quickly get that done. So I'm going to take it to Gemini as usual. We are doing AI today, so you can see this is the video that was generated from the last section. See what Gemini generated for us. This can be used as a beautiful intro for a cybersecurity company. So we're going to have a new chat. Okay, chat. And inside this new chat, I'm going to paste this, and I'm going to tell Gemini that please put the and CSS file. Okay. This is just to show the interface. We're just going to create an interface that we're going to be straight up, just a pure interface for sites. Right? So, and a separate CSS file styling. So let us see what is generate for us. Have our CSS. So what of the HTML side? We haven't got our HTML was generated. We're going to copy this CSS code first. CSS code, and I'm going to paste it here. So this is how easy AI can. Now this interface is a very dynamic interface. I'm telling you, it's with AI we have been able to do it so fast. Imagine if we wanted to do this interface from scratch. We can still do it, but it's going to take us a longer, much more. Let's see. So now we go further. Let us come in. Then let's refresh and see what we have. Okay. So of course, the reason why this is happening is that because I'm not seeing my CSS file. So I have to quickly go here and change that CSS/styles CSS. Okay. Change that. Let's see what now you can see that. So I can try to send it. Of course, it's not going to do anything. Well, this is not functional. This is a straightforward, this is just an interface of how you can create a chat platform for AI on your website. So you can see the prompts I did. I copied that code that we had, the manual, and I pasted it here. And I asked Gemini to give me the head section of the document and a separate CSS file. That's all I say. Please introduce head section to the and a separate CSS file. And that was how I introduced that. And I pasted the code, the CSS in the appropriate place, and the HTML the appropriate place. And end of the day, that is how it's amazing looking results. I can say, how are you? If I say you, see, all our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code has already been done. See, I received your prompt. How are you? Connect this to your backend for live. Like you can see, it's asking us to connect to the backend because you need the backend to be able to send responses back to the user. So this with this now, this is like a mini ChatGPT that you can provide inside your website if your website truly. And see, this is a job that we did earlier in the year, late last year. That I did late last year. This job you can see this job uses an AI, live and direct. I could just ask this AI, I say when World War II end. The back end of this website is able to reply to you because it's already of this website is able to reply to you because it is already tied to ChatGPT and it is getting the response. We have regulated the response to give short and summarized responses, but if you want detailed response, you can also make it give much more detailed response. Now, this and a good example of a chat platform of a chat platform you can integrate to your website that can actually interact any of the popular large language learning model. So that's for that. Now let's move forward. Yeah. Now AI powered accessibility and inclusive. AI improves web accessibility by dynamically adapting web interfaces to diverse user needs. Yes, this is one of the things AI does. With the help of AI, you can adjust a website to dynamically adjust to differently. And dynamic image recognition, ingesting uploaded user image and generating rich contextual authentic text for visually impressed screen reader. So with the help of AI, instead of making use of images in a place, AI, if your website is AI integrated, the AI can help to turn those images to normal text. And when it turns those images to normal text successfully, the AI can turn those images to normal text for you. And when it turns it to normal text for screen readers that need images that will be bright on their eyes and all, can do that. Native speech synthesis and using the browser's web speech API paired with LLMs to allow complete voice-driven web navigation. Yeah, you can use AI together with your browser's speech API to make a website to be navigatable by voice. You can say go to about us, it will go there, go to this, it will go there. I used to do that with Cortana in those days, but there are few websites do that, but I can tell you that that is something that might become a very important feature for websites in future. By combining the power of LLMs together with the web API in your browser, you'll be able to get browsers to recognize speech, understand speech when it is given. Dynamic cognitive adaptation, summarizing complex technical documentation on the fly for readers requiring simplified reading. So if you have a lot of write-ups, with the help of AI, you can use AI to bring about a summary of that particular thing that you wrote, and AI will just summarize the end user, and users will be able to use it. Now, this is an example. So look at this now. We'll say read any web page article text aloud using client-side speech synthesis. Okay, let us see if this will work for us. Let's try. I'm going to put it into the JavaScript section. I'm going to add it into the JavaScript section of this my code here. Add it here. Let's see what will happen. Okay. Let's see, will it even work? Who knows? Let's see what we're going to have. Let's see it work. Okay, let's see. We have a good thing. Safe attempt to load you up. Okay, when with help of the web speech API, okay. With web speech API, you can get your browser, you can compare it with AI to get make it possible for browser to read for content to be audible language and user. In case your website is being viewed like by someone that is they want to hear, you can make it to be audible. Now, security and privacy challenges in AI-enabled web. That security will never store or expose secret keys, e.g., OpenAI API key, Gemini API key, inside client-side JavaScript file, HTML template, or public repository. So, as much as possible, you are not supposed to expose your secret key for AI by using to the end user. Expose that is the number one golden rule security and privacy challenges when it comes to AI enabled web application. Prompt injection attack. Malicious users submit crafted input to trick your AI into bypassing system instructions, executing unauthorized actions, or revealing internal system prompts. Now, with prompt injection attacks, you can protect yourself from this kind of attacks. With the help, you need to protect yourself from those kind of attacks. Just the way you protect yourself from SQL injection attack for experienced developers, and also protect yourself from prompt injection attack. Users send malicious input to your AI to get it to execute those malicious input code rather than text. And then we have the data leakage and PII exposure, accidentally transmitting sensitive client data, passwords, email, head data to public AI APIs without consent and authorization. So if you're going to send your user's data, private data, to an AI for analysis or anything, you need to get the consent of get the user to maybe mark an I agree button, raise it so that it can go through. Denial of wallet, automated bot attacks bombarding your AI, exhausting your API credits in minutes. So denial of wallet, so you must ensure you introduce rate limiting. Don't allow one single client to keep hitting your API back to back and end up exhausting your API credits for no good. In best practice for front-end AI integration, what are some things when you're integrating API to the AI to the back-end gateway? Always route requests through a protected back-end server. One of the things about back-end code is that it cannot be seen. Back-end code cannot be seen by the by the end user. Okay, that so back-end code cannot be seen. So always route your request through a protected back-end server. The server could be a Node.js or Express server, a PHP server, a Python server, but just ensure that your code is that everything the user is sending goes through the back-end server that enforces authentication, rate limiting, and CRS header. CRS header is referring to cross-platform site headers, meaning that you must be sure of where a particular request is coming from before you send a response to it. Use streaming response. Use server sent event or WebSocket to stream tokens progressively to the UI. reducing perceived latency for users. So it was just saying stream things, send information back to the user step by step. Okay, send it step by step to the user for the user to be able to make use of. Then defensive sanitize all AI generated Markdown and HTML using libraries like DOM Purify before rendering to prevent cross-site scripting attacks. So should also prevent that. Defensive sanitize every input that comes from. I always tell my students, I say never you trust input end user. Because if you trust input, make your website have a risk for attacks like cross-site scripting, local file, file, multiple inclusion. And then gracefully provide standard fallback forms and sidebars when third-party AI APIs experience rate limits outages. So you should also provide for a way to support back support. Okay, we say secure AI gateway architecture. Write a secure Node.js backend that acts as an API gateway for a front-end AI assistant. The route must validate the incoming request, get the secret API key on the include error handling, return the AI output safely to the client. So I don't want to bog us with Node.js at the moment. Yes, because Node.js is not it's a serious course on its own. But what we are saying is that the run and short of it is that your front end code cannot interact with API directly. Rather, you must provide a back-end script like Node.js script or PHP or any other language of choice. You provide a middle tier. For them, I refer to them as middle tier to be able to sanitize AI as a large language, get the feedback from the and send it back to user. So AI integration is not a pure front end work. AI integration is not just front end. For you to do a successful integration site, you need to get that. We expect more tutorials. We have about 2 tutorials already. Chatbots, how to create a chat, how to train your own chatbot AI, with how to train your chatbot so that it can be able to. And I want to expect that very soon. We're going to and a fast boot. We're going to have soon AI site. In fact, we're going to be part of our bonus in the next class. See how we create that boot that we created, fastboot.ai, bring it in site and get it to successfully. Honestly, you don't this channel, follow us, turn on your so you don't miss any of what's next week. We're going to be even using the power maybe interface, user experience design. Yes, you do. So, follow Chukwuemeka, senior ICT instructor. Take good care of yourself. See you next time. Have